And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, you have Patrick Hyland in here today, the insurance quarterback. Brandon is on his honeymoon. Congratulations. God bless. And it's a pleasure to enjoy doing the show for him this afternoon. And we got a couple awesome guests I want to share with you. We have Jim Hennessy. He's a 30-year mortgage veteran. I have Mr. King, Mr. Firearms Extraordinaire. So, first and foremost, Mr. Hennessy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We're happy to be here.
That's awesome. And Mr. King, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. I'm always excited to be on the show.
It's a lot of fun, man. We do a lot of neat things here. I think Brandon does a lot of great things in the community to help people out, and that's what it's all about. It's a great show to help out a lot of people, and it's great to have partners such as your two gentlemen to help people out in the community, give them a good deal, help them out, and get them the best thing they can. Jim, I want to start off with you. You're a 30-year mortgage veteran, okay? Now, you pretty much do it all, right? From the underwriting to the processing to the closing. Is that fair to say?
There is not a job I've had in the mortgage business over the last 30 years that I haven't had over the last 30 years. So there's not too much I don't know.
That's awesome, man.
It's good to know a lot.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you enjoy your job, obviously. It's been a good profession for you.
Yep. It's exciting.
And you call your organization Team Hennessy because you got a wonderful wife helping you out getting things done. Correct, sir?
We're really lucky to have the team that we have. I think the average person that works in our group's been in the business for about 15 years. So they can really sit down with a consumer and help them with their goals. If you get on the phone or you get on the internet and you start talking to people that have been in the business, I think the average person you probably talk to, their experience in the business is probably a year or two. So we've worked really hard to keep our group together for a long time, so that our mortgage gene pool is pretty high. So you're not only gonna learn things, but we're gonna be able to help you.
Man, that's fantastic. Well, it sounds like you really care about the people, trying to help them out. It's just not a number. It's not just a loan you're trying to put together. And with that attitude, I'm sure you get a lot of referrals from a lot of people, because that's what it takes today to be successful, in my opinion, Jim, in any industry. Mm-hmm. So I think it's great that you do that. Go over a few things with you. A lot of people are going through a lot of headaches and hassles right now for a variety of reasons. Just let's touch a little bit. What happens in foreclosures? What is their rights? How can you maybe give them some helpful advice on how to get out or save the home or do something with it?
Well, there's a lot of options right now that are returning to the mortgage industry that haven't existed probably for the last 7 or 8 years for all homeowners and for all people that are looking for mortgages. It's kind of counterintuitive. As mortgage interest rates have risen over the course of the last 24 months, private label mortgage lenders have returned to the marketplace. I think you should separate the mortgage industry into two halves. One is what's called a qualified mortgage. A qualified mortgage was defined by the federal government and is required to be underwritten under specific terms and circumstances as it relates to FHA, VA, and conventional mortgages. That's mostly the government space. And then there's the private label space, right, where you have people with private money or lenders that are not underwriting their loans to the government's guidelines, that are allowed to be really entrepreneurial and help consumers that maybe have fallen on hard times. You've had a life change. God forbid somebody passed or somebody was sick or you lost a job. Those are all life changes, and life happens to all of us. The first thing you need to do as a consumer is to know your rights. If somebody says they're going to take your home, it takes a long time to get to that point. So there's a large chain of events that takes place as it pertains to documentation that you've received. Understand what you're looking at. And if you're in trouble, get a veteran involved, get somebody that knows the business involved. We're out there. We have tools that can help people today that are in foreclosure, but your rights as a consumer in foreclosure are many and varied. Too many to get into here. But if anybody is in a situation where they're in a foreclosure, or they're facing a foreclosure, or they're having problems with their mortgage, we're definitely somebody that can help you with that.
And that's two simple ways to get in touch with the Hennessy team. Answers at loanpilots.com. That's answers at loanpilots.com. If you're like me, you like using the phone, and it's 727-215-0001. That's 727-215-0001. Get a pen and paper handy. I'll give out that email and phone number a little bit later on today. Now, what has been the driving current mortgage rates the way they are right now, Jim?
What drives mortgage interest rates is typically the following. The thing that mortgage rates are most sensitive to is inflation. Now, there's a number of things that go into the federal government's calculations for inflation, quite a few things. But what the Federal Reserve is looking at today, and they control the Fed funds rate, which ultimately controls the 10-year mortgage interest rate, the 10-year Treasury rate, which is what your mortgage rate is tied to, your credit card interest rates are tied to, your student loan interest rates are tied to, and your car loans. So the 10-year United States Treasury yield, which is the interest rate the United States government pays on a 10-year Treasury bill, affects you every single day. It affects you, the cost of your insurance on your car, the insurance on your home, and all of the debts that you have in your household. So what's driving the 10-year Treasury today in the yield? As the yield moves up, mortgage interest rates move up, and conversely, as the yield moves down, so do mortgage interest rates. What's driving that today is the perception that the Fed is very afraid, and they're very sensitive to inflation. If you're old enough, you remember the days where mortgage interest rates were in the double digits. The people that work for me today remember those, but there's a lot of people that I interview on a daily basis that think a 3.5% interest rate is what you should always have. I remember the first mortgage interest rate I had in my life, first house I ever bought, and I'm an old guy now. My interest rate was 11%. And I thanked the man for it when he came and closed my loan. I thanked him. If I talk to anybody about an 11% interest rate today, you got big problems. So if you look at the stock market, if you look at wage inflation, which is what the Federal Reserve is looking at, what our employers have to pay us to keep us working, that's what the Federal Reserve is looking at. And they telegraph to the market at all of their Fed meetings how many times they're going to raise the Fed funds rate in a year. So far this year, it's 4 times they want to raise the rates. But the market doesn't wait for that to happen. They don't wait till they see the whites of the Fed's eyes. The bond traders are probably, Treasury bond traders are probably the most disciplined and most thoughtful traders that are out there. They don't knee jerk. So the 10-year Treasury today, I think, is yielding about, I want to say 2.8 and change this morning. If you want to know what a 30-year fixed interest rate is going to be, on average, just for a rule of thumb, take the 10-year Treasury and add 200 basis points to it, or 2% to it. That's going to be your average 30-year fixed interest rate. And I think the run rate for a 30-year fixed interest rate in general, if you look at any bank out there, is probably 4 3/4 in that neighborhood. So my methodology stands the test of time. I learned that from a guy who was doing this a lot longer than I was. So what's driving rates today is wage inflation and inflation in general, and the Fed's fear of it. The Fed has 2 mandates. One is to promote a stable economy and growth, and to fight inflation. So they have a really hair trigger when it comes to it. So keep an eye on the 10-year Treasury, because it's going to tell you the yield on the 10-year Treasury. It's going to tell you where rates are going, not only on a minute-by-minute basis, but on a week-over-week basis. And the interesting thing about interest rates is they reprice in real time all day, every day. So if you're out there fishing for the cheapest interest rate available, which a lot of people are, and you want to consider your options once you talk to somebody about a mortgage interest rate, know that interest rate is a snapshot as of right now. And that could change this afternoon and tomorrow morning and the days going forward. So look out for inflation. Inflation is the name of the game. As anybody driving around the Tampa Bay area will see notice the crane convention that is Tampa right now. That lets you know how the housing market's going in Tampa. That means there's a lot of money pumping into the Tampa market, and there's a lot of construction. If you drive around Tampa, there is land being cleared on Sundays. So somebody knows something that we don't know, right? About where the housing market's going. That's inflationary. So keep an eye on it, because it's something that the Fed's looking at closely, and they're going to raise rates in advance of inflation to try and tamp it down. to keep this recovery going as long as possible. So watch out for the Fed, watch out for the 10-year Treasury, because that's going to tell you where rates are going.
Now, that's great information there, Jim. And you hit two nerves there that got me laughing, and that is, number one, I remember mine was 11.99, paying 21% for a credit card. So it was like, hey, this is all right. Now it's about 5% for a credit card if your credit's rock solid, and about 3.5% to 4% on a 30-year mortgage.
Absolutely.
So it's funny how things have changed and how times have changed.
You've got a whole segment of society that's grown up with this. So when we get back to more normalized interest rates, it's going to be interesting to see how people handle it.
You're right. You're right about that. It's going to be really interesting. And then you made a comment about the crane. Please don't make fun of my Florida national bird, okay? 'Cause it's not the hummingbird anymore. It's the crane.
You're right.
I'm telling you, man, we're just doing so much out there. And it's funny, even on a Sunday, you see so much. But Florida's a neat place to live. I say it all the time. I love Tampa Bay, Florida in general. You can find a neat place in Florida to live. If
Tampa's been discovered. Used to be a small town with all the all the offerings of a big town. Now it's a big town with all the offerings of a big town. So it's interesting.
Yeah, no question about it. I hope we don't get too crazy, because I enjoy, the size of Tampa with all the things we have. I want to thank you for checking us out. Stay tuned here on 1380 The Biz. We'll be right back after a couple short messages for you.
Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
What?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Thank you for coming back here, 1380 AM The Biz, with the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and you have your host today, Patrick Hyland, instead of Brandon Rhymes. He is away on his honeymoon. Congratulations, Brandon. I do a show on Friday nights. It's the sports show from 5 to 6. Brandon is so kind to let me have that hour, and I greatly appreciate him doing that for me. And I also want to let you all know about an awesome hotel, the Hotel Zamora. It's located on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's the first boutique hotel built in decades. A whitewashed Mediterranean Palace. Expansive luxury suites with balconies overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway. Check it out. Hotel Zamora offers rooftop yoga and fine dining in the Castilla restaurant. Check it out. Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. All right, getting back to my man Jim, talking about mortgages. All right, now I got to talk about my kids, who are the millennials, the Xers, and I'm the last of the boomers there, Jim. So a lot of things going on in the housing market. These kids are getting smart. They do want to find a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo instead of just renting someplace. I give them a lot of credit. So let's talk about that generation gap and a little bit of what's going on with the millennials out there.
Well, there's some fascinating things that are coming together in the mortgage industry for millennials specifically. I talked to some people. I talked to a lot of people in the industry that either run their own companies or run large national lenders. And there's some products that are entering into the marketplace that started in other countries, specifically like Australia. For example, for millennials, there is an opportunity. There's a mortgage that's been created that allows you to crowdfund your down payment funds. So say, those of us that have been married before have gotten money at our reception. So what happens if you reach out to all the people that are coming to your wedding and you give them a crowdfunding site and said, you know what, instead of giving me money at the wedding, why don't you deposit some money into this crowdfunding account so that we can buy our first home? And the lender will actually match some of that money. This is something that was run past Fannie and Freddie, and they approved it. It actually exists. There are lenders out there that offer it. It is highly specialized for the millennials. So that's just one product that's out there that exists. The hardest thing, I think, the downside, where the sandpaper is in the mortgage industry today, is we live in a Facebook world. We live in an Instagram world, right? Everybody likes to have it right here, right now. And I get it because the customer is always right. But at the end of the day, I would say probably 90% of the loans that are made today are either made under Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, or VA guidelines. Now, that's all the government. The underwriting rules that are promulgated for all those entities are all the federal government. Now, the federal government decided to get involved in the mortgage industry because the mortgage industry didn't do a very good job of regulating itself 10 or 11 years ago. So they put some rules in place to ensure the consumer is safe. There are firewalls specifically built in the mortgage loan process to make sure that you don't get whisked from application to funding in a matter of days. As a matter of fact, our industry used to be very proud of itself in the ability to pull together a transaction in 24 hours, right? You've had a customer that's been in underwriting for three and a half weeks. They've got a closing date coming up, and they decide that they've got to close today. So you start at 9 o'clock in the morning, you get them to the closing table at 6 o'clock at night. That's no longer exists. There is a hard stop called a closing disclosure that you need to have as a consumer in advance 3 days prior to closing, which is all your final fees, rate, and your closing date. So it gives you an opportunity to digest it, make sure it's something that you understand, something that you're comfortable with before you go to closing, and put yourself in a position where there are no surprises. So that's a good thing that the industry's done, but it doesn't play well in the instant world that we live in. So if you're going to have somebody that's doing your mortgage, that's starting you on day one, they need to help you set expectations, whether you're 25 years old or 55 years old. What are the mile markers here? What should I expect on day 5, day 10, day 15, day 20? That's something we do very well. We're big on consultation because I've told almost anybody that works for me over the last 30 years, and I'll say it to you guys today. The easiest thing in our industry is to quote a rate and closing costs on day 1. The hardest thing is on day 30 to deliver it. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the good guys and women separate themselves from the pretenders. So, and that's something we pride ourselves on. So those are just a couple of things, a couple of mile markers, a couple of things you should consider if you're a millennial, if you're anybody that's looking to get a mortgage today. But there's some products out there that are specifically for millennials. So the industry's changing.
No, that's awesome, Jim. And a lot of young people out there in the 25 to 30 range are really looking to buy their first home. Mm-hmm. They're looking for someone to walk them through step by step. You seem to be the man who can handle that, and they ought to give you a chance. Answers at loanpilots.com. Answers at loanpilots.com. if you're into the millennials are into the good old computer, so that's probably the way they'll get a hold of you. But people in our bracket, they're going to call you at 727-215-0001. That's 727-215-0001. And Jim will take good care of you. The whole team at Hennessy will take good care of you. You know, speaking about the millennials, I got to tell a good story because I bust my kids' chops all the time. They're in that millennial bracket. It's just the way it is. And society busts on them, too. But you know what? A lot of them have a big heart. And I want to tell a good feel story here, and then we'll get back to the mortgage talk. 6 college students rushed into a burning building and rescued a 90-year-old man. So I'll tell you what, there's some excitement there about the youth that we really got to be giving them credit for. And I think we're doing okay. I think we're getting better as a society. They have their own way of doing it. You know, we had the 60s and the 70s. They're going to be the 10s and the 20s. It's just the way it's going to be. We got to be able to just adjust to each other and understand that. You know, I have in here with me also, I don't want to leave him out in the cold here, Thomas King. And he deals with firearms. And we always hear about the bad things kids do. And obviously it comes with firearms. But a lot of good things can come from firearms, too, as far as discipline and everything. And in the next half an hour, we're going to talk to Thomas about firearms, fire safety, going to an academy to do it right. It's been in our Constitution forever. There's a reason for it. People enjoy it. It's about being educated. Anything in life, from what you were saying, Jim, as far as Facebook, that can either be used as an asset or it can be used as a detriment. Everything we've created in society has been led to be that way, from a car to a train to an airplane.
Yep, Facebook is your personal billboard. You know, people still use billboards today, but Facebook is a lot easier to put up.
You know, another thing that people don't realize, and I didn't until recently, till a few of my friends moved into manufactured housing, okay? You can help people out with that also, correct, Jim?
Absolutely. Manufactured housing. I mean, the premise for making a loan on a manufactured house has not changed from the day I started in the industry back in the 80s to today. A manufactured house is typically built indoors, and then delivered on site. So think about the house that you live in, right? Your house was built in phases on site, open to the elements for certain stages. So it was open to the rain. It was open to any kind of rodents or pests that wanted to get in there, versus a manufactured home, which was built in a factory, air conditioned, and delivered on site and site installed. There are a lot of manufactured homes out there that are a lot nicer than stick-built homes and built a little bit better.
How many bedrooms are those?
You can get ones with 4 or 5 bedrooms. Wow. So they exist. You can trick it out as much as you want to.
Okay.
So it's not just what we've all seen in the movies and seen on television because they've been characterized in a certain way. It's actually a very nice home.
Yes.
It's a great place to hang your hat. From a mortgage perspective, it's fairly easy to get. It's about as easy as a stick-built home. There's a few small nuances, but nothing that you need to be too terribly concerned with. But we offer them. We live in the South. We do business all over the South. We make mortgages on them all day long, and we make it pretty easy. We'll show you where the mile markers are. We'll teach you what to expect. And for all intents and purposes, we pretty much over-communicate. So, and I think we find that to be pretty important in the mortgage process.
Well, just what you said is perfect, Jim. It's always better to over-communicate. Then everybody has the right expectations, the right understandings, and then you're not going to have problems down the road.
Correct.
And then everybody
that's
gets
where things go wrong in any industry.
Yes.
Communicate. Let people know what they can expect.
And, you know, like you said earlier, and that was a great thing you said, Jim, as far as anybody can quote a rate and quote a closing date and this and that, but are you going to walk me through it, man? Are you going to hold my hand? Because a lot of people, it's their biggest purchase of their whole life.
I agree.
And they need that. And it's so important to have a good quality guy such as yourself, Jim, and your team there. And, some good stuff.
Just the comfort of it, too, is, you're scared, you're terrified, you're going to be purchasing.
Most people are. I've had a lot of people come to me in the course of the last 30 years that have been turned down by someone else. Just had that happen. To my neighbor who was building a home. And went to closing, and they told her she was going to close, and the lender at closing said, "You're not approved. You're turned down."
Wow.
And we were able to turn that around for her in a matter of days. So now she's a homeowner. So it was
See, there
fantastic.
you go. You picked up for somebody who dropped the ball, and you did the right thing.
Making
You helped
the
them out,
dreams alive.
making
That's it.
dreams come true. Is that the truth, Thomas?
Yep,
When we
absolutely.
come back from this quick break, we're going to talk about firearms safety and the Firearms Academy with Thomas King. You're listening to 1380 AM The Biz, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. 1380 AM, The Biz, with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Brandon Rhymes is normally your host, but I am the host today, your insurance quarterback, Patrick Highland. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, please give me a call at 813-966-1052 if it has anything to do with insurance. That's Patrick Highland at 813-966-1052. In studio with me is Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, man. Tell me what's going on over there.
Well, I'm just happy to be here today. We had a lot of events this week at Florida Firearms Academy. We had a car show going on. We gave away free food, hot dogs, chips, drinks. So we had a lot of free training classes. We had a lot of really cool things going on that we had so many people come out. We gave away some memberships and everything like that. But today we're in the studio to talk about some of the current events that just recently happened. And one was the Maryland school shooting. You had this 17-year-old that went to the great high school, Mills High School over there, and shot someone. And what happened with that? There was this officer over there, this resource officer, it was Blaine Gilskin. He actually went in there and stopped this man before he did some kind of mass shooting. And you know what the thing was? You didn't really hear about this all over the media. And it didn't. You would think this guy would get like a standing ovation, a parade, or something that's just out there to let everyone know, hey, this is how you stop a mass shooter. Security in the school or someone with a firearm to stop these kind of things. It's not going to matter what you really ban or anything like that. There's always going to be some kind of crazy guy out there. And the one thing that I was going to talk about was, why aren't they talking about this? Why aren't they talking about the prescription drugs that all these mass shooters are basically on? I mean, why isn't any of this being brought up? Why isn't anyone talking about the good guy that shows up with a gun that actually comes out there to stop this guy? And the basic thing is it doesn't fit their agenda to ban ARs. This kid didn't use an AR to go in to do a school shooting. He used a Glock 19, and basically a Glock 19 is a 9mm, and you can carry multiple 32-round magazines in these things very easily. Now, a 9mm, for people that don't know about firearms, the 22 the AR shoots is a little tiny basic 22, and it has a lot more powder than a 22 rifle. But the 9mm, if you shoot it paper to paper next to each other, is a way bigger hole, and you can carry just as many rounds, as they like to call it, a high capacity magazine. But on the standard AR, it came issued with a standard 30-round magazine, and the AR was built for hunting. It was a very good hunting rifle. It doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite, of course. Most people know this, but that's the agenda that they don't want to hear out there, and the media doesn't want to play it. So oh, you know what? ARs are bad. That's the whole thing that they're putting this towards. Which in the firearm industry, we know ARs really aren't a military style rifle. They're not fully automatic. Those were banned in 1986. So when I saw people marching out there, and I really wanted to know what was it that we can do to stop these kinds of things. But the answers that I kept hearing from people were it was because of ARs, and I think in the 96 shootings there were 6 people that actually used an AR. There was an actual ban back before, and during that shooting, the Columbine shooting, they had one. Bad guys will always have anything. No matter what we ban. And they also use bombs. They also use sawed-off shotguns in that school. So, those were banned. They've always been banned, but they're going to use them. It only hurts the law-abiding citizen that actually has one by their bed to protect their family. So what they're trying to do is take away millions of law-abiding citizens' guns, their rights to protect their family, because of one crazy lunatic out there that actually went out there and shot people and killed people, which is horrible. But the main thing is, why weren't there security there? Why wasn't there an armed security guard there? Every time you go to a government building, you're going to see metal detectors and armed guards there. Why aren't our schools still like this? It needs to be in there so our kids can be protected. And I've heard many people say, they don't want a military style school. They don't want armed guards on there because they're feared that it's going to be some kind of military style school. But when you go to the malls or you go to the store or restaurants, there's a police officer and he has a firearm right next to you. That's the same exact thing this would be. It's not going to be complicated. It's not going to fit their objective. They want to ban this certain type of firearm, which is is crazy because if you're in the firearm industry and there's a gun out there that you actually are scared of, would be someone having a single bolt action rifle. That's the firearm that we're all terrified of, not a little AR-15, because that's not the gun. Now I know I'm in the fight, I'm going to be able to shoot this guy. A bolt action rifle, this guy could be a mile away, and I'm not even going to be able to have a chance to defend my life or anything like that. So.
No, it's so true, Thomas. I mean, I've said this for a lot of years. If you outlaw guns, guess what? Only outlaws will have them.
That's exactly right. And I can't understand why they think that, there's all these laws already in place. Killing people is a law, right? Mm-hmm. Bringing a gun to a gun-free zone, they're breaking all these laws. Why adding one more law on top of that do they think that this is going to stop it?
It's not. And I'm surprised they're taking that position, Thomas, because the simplest thing is, you mentioned the pharmaceuticals. I'm in the insurance industry. I know about that. It's a big business. It's a lot of bread.
It's money.
Some people need opioids. I deal with a lot of people. I get it, okay, but not everybody.
Right.
These kids have some mental issues. You can't just always cure it with a pill. They need to have a different family upbringing. They need to have love. They need to have companionship. And guess what? If they don't want to go to school, because most of these kids don't who cause these problems,
right?
Find them a military school, a technical school, something. Just putting bans thinking you're going to stop people, it's not going to work. You got to get to the heart of the problem, not just the outline.
And what is the heart? I mean, a lot of these people in these mass shootings, they're actually the ones that were bullied, picked on, shunned on, in the corner over there. And that's the problem that we need to get to. It's not just the people that we're creating these problems, not just us. I mean, it's the kids and everyone.
Yes.
If these people just want to lock themselves away and be away from society, that's not good and healthy either. You need to go up and stop the bullying. Go to a teacher, say, hey, look, these guys are bothering me. I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to learn here. And you know what? Those are the people that actually will get through it, that don't have to be on these kind of prescription drugs, because prescription drugs out there, everybody wants to push these things. Oh yeah, here, take these right here. Because why? It's a huge money sale, and that it's an easier win for the doctor to say, yeah, next patient, come on in, because okay, here's a prescription for you. I personally hate taking any kind of medication because it makes me feel horrible, or even any kind of pain medication, because basically I like to do things and go shoot and drive, and right. I don't want to be on anything like that. So no. It's hard for all these kids, and if they get prescribed a drug, well, sure, they're going to take it because their doctor told them to.
Well, here's the point, Thomas, what you just said, and what Jim Hennessy, I'm sure when we grew up too, and you also, we got you by a few years, I can tell, but we were taught in kindergarten, man, treat people the way you want to be treated, okay?
Exactly.
Love your fellow man, and just treat everybody with kindness, because and then the old Native American saying, walk a mile on a man's moccasins before you judge him. If we could go back to that attitude, our country would be a lot better off, and things would run a lot smoother.
Well, we didn't have all those. We didn't have all those kind of mass shootings back in my day. I mean, I never, that I know of that had happened anywhere near where I lived, but we all were very cool with each other. We had guns in the back of our cars, and I know people would come to school with them. And nowadays, I mean, it's like a taboo thing to even talk about firearms or to own a firearm. I know many people in my neighborhood have firearms, but they don't even want to talk about it, And when they come to my range and everything, they don't want a picture of them because they, hey, don't put me because but they shoot all the time with us. And I get it, because they'll be blasted on Facebook as some kind of Nazi or a racist because they own a firearm. And that's just crazy today.
It's crazy, Thomas. People don't realize the greatness that come out of it. We talk about sports on Friday night show, okay? Tampa Bay Youth Football League.
Right.
And, there's a lot of concussions. I get that. There's a lot of danger. But you know what? They don't realize there's more danger in riding a BMX bicycle. There's more injuries that happen there. A lot of things people don't realize. Shooting a firearm. You know what that creates? That creates discipline. Can you hit a target? Can you practice? Do you want to become better? Can you defend yourself? Just so many good things can come out of it, but we're just going to focus on the one thing that happens. And I want to touch on something you said earlier that aggravates the heck out of me, too. We always want to talk about the craziness, but we never want to talk about the goodness. And is that because people just don't want to hear that on the news anymore? I don't get it, because I'm tired of hearing the nonsense.
That guy's a hero.
He's a hero, and we don't talk about it. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I don't understand that.
Just doesn't fit the equation of what the mass media wants. And it needs to stop.
That. Exactly.
It really does.
There's a website out there that you can go to. You can Google it. It's 2018. I think it's current deaths, and it shows minute by minute, updated what's the longest for 2018 of how many people have died from what disease or firearms or knives or whatever it may be. And texting is right next to, I think, firearms. So
drive down I-4, you see a lot of people texting.
It's ridiculous.
I
It's
can't
dangerous.
stand that. You're going 60, 70 miles per hour and someone's texting. You're going to die. I mean,
Drive down
and you're
301.
why don't they ban texting? Well, it is banned, right? Why don't they ban phones? Or you don't see people picketing in front of car dealerships because of all the DUI murders out there. You don't ban the car for that. You tell the person, hey, you have a problem. You need to go get counseling and a DUI. You need to go get treatments from an alcohol class. But you don't ban the car or the phone at all. So I can't understand the logic behind all this. Even if you did ban an AR, they're still going to have them, and you're only taking them away from good guys. But
Now, I don't like to assume anything, but at your academy, do you also do concealed weapons training and licensing and everything?
absolutely, we have tons of classes. So I'll get back with that after this break. But we'll talk a
please.
little bit
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
I want to talk where your academy's located.
Yep.
You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show here on 1380 AM, The Biz, and we'll be back in just a few short moments.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978. Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, thanks for tuning in. 1380 AM, The Biz, the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and your host today is Patrick Hyland, the insurance consumer quarterback they joke with me about. And love for you to catch my show on Friday nights, 5 to 6. This Friday, March Madness, the Rays, the Bucks, a lot of cool things. Love for you to tune in. Now, getting back to Thomas King, you were going to talk about. Please let everybody know the phone number of your academy and the address and what you have going on, Thomas.
Well, at Florida Firearms Academy, we have a lot of different classes, but you can always give us a call at 813-221-FIRE, and we're at 13317 West Hillsborough Avenue, and we're right behind the Direct Tire. But what we do over there is we do concealed weapons classes, and these classes aren't just to go in, shoot, get a couple laws. This is a couple-hour long class, and it's $50, and if you're a member, you also get a discount. What we do is we go over the laws. You actually go out there and you shoot a few rounds. You use our firearms, or you can bring your own, or you can bring your own ammo. We also have basic pistol classes. Now, we have a lot of free classes going on right now, and we have one going on for any active teacher, free basic pistol classes, because we're offering that. That's out of our pocket. We just had a free active shooter class. This isn't a class where you sit there and listen to what we have to say. You actually have to participate this, and this isn't just running and hiding and anything like that. You actually have to get in there. It's a hand-to-hand combat specialist will be there. We have firearms trainers there, and these guys, Thomas from Cobra will be there, and their whole entire staff. We had like 50 people, 60 people last time in this class, and it was amazing. If you go on our webpage at FFAtampa.com or on our Facebook page, Florida Firearms Academy, you'll see parts of the classes and the reviews on it, and everyone actually loved it. We also have a kids-free safety class, ages 5 to 16. You get free training, a firearm, ammo, targets, range fees, eyes, ears, everything is completely free in the class. And the class is basically to let the kids know if they come across a firearm, what to do at a friend's house or anything like that. That's where the problem occurs, is in someone's house, and they've never experienced anything with a firearm. We teach them, and after they've shot it, they actually know what to do and how to handle a firearm. So they also get the certificate at the end, but we also have a lot of other free classes. But we have competitions every Sunday night. This is for beginners. It's $25. Or $20 for members, but you run through room, shoot bad guys, bowling pins, steel targets, balloons, in the dark, out of the dark, in a bed, wherever it may be for that night that we're doing it. We walk you through it. We teach you how to do it. We score you on it. We time you on it. We make sure that you're doing it correctly and safely. And this isn't just for competition. It could be for home defense. You can utilize all this into that too as well. We also have build your own AR classes. You can customize. We have a full armory there. Quincy's our guy over there. He's doing a build your own AR class. You can actually sit in his class, learn how to build an AR, and then build it on your own if you like. But you're going to build one that day. You can be able to take it home, if you don't have a concealed weapon permit, not that day, but a few days later. And now you have to be 21 and older to purchase one. So for the new laws that I just recently passed, that probably won't stop anything from a mass shooter. And you're going to see this more often because it's not going to do anything until you get actual security into these schools. That's the problem. And that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit, too. I was going to talk about the arming of teachers. Now, don't get me wrong here. I actually think it's not a good idea to arm teachers that aren't physically and mentally capable of doing this. I don't want to throw firearms out. Hey, teachers, carry a firearm. I think you should lift the ban that allows teachers that are mentally and physically capable of carrying a firearm, as long as they have adequate training in this and they know what they're doing and they can take on that responsibility. Now, you can get like locked holsters or locked bolted down boxes to keep it, whatever. They'd have to come up with a way to devise themselves to have a firearm in this, but that is the only way that you're going to stop these people is with another firearm. You have to fight fire with fire in this. If you go to any other country out there that bans firearm citizens or anything like that from having a firearm, see how they live. I mean, see if you would actually survive in something like that, first of all. But they have the most crime rate, the most death rate, and their government is so corrupt. Ask any one of them. Go to Mexico or Honduras or anywhere like that, Nicaragua or Tijuana. It is so corrupt. We don't have that here. Why don't we have that here? Because if we are all armed, you can't just go breaking into houses because they know someone may have a firearm in there. Our government isn't as corrupt as we'd like to think, but it's because they can't do tyranny or anything like that. They can't be criminalistics because we all have firearms that we could overcome our government if it had to be. But right now, if you took all that away, you'd have to really think about what you're actually losing yourself. I mean, no country's come in here and try to take on the United States. It's because we are all armed. And that's the main reason. You can't come put boots on the ground here because you will have... There's over 300 million firearms in this country right now.
That's right.
Can you imagine them putting people here, troops to take over?
No,
It'd
be a mass.
Would never happen.
Just be mass chaos, to say the least.
Exactly.
But what I like about what you do is this, Thomas, is a lot of people go buy a gun and really don't go to classes. They go maybe shoot at once a year.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's probably more dangerous than not having a gun.
Not having the training is the part. So we have a rental program. For $30, you can try like 100 different guns. And this is the reason why, because you don't know, you may not know what guns are good for you and what fits your hand. So I have so many people come in that say, I just bought this gun for $700 and I hate it. It hurts my hand. It recoils so much. So what we do is we say, hey, start with this one and go down the line until you find one that actually fits your hands. You can work all the components and you can shoot it correctly, and it doesn't have the recoil that you can actually handle, the recoil that you can handle. So then once they get to that firearm, they always say, oh, that's the gun. Can you get us this gun? And absolutely, we can get you a firearm as long as you pass your background check and everything like that and you're legally of age. But a lot of the classes that we have drill classes. I mean, there's basically a class every night. We have ladies shoot for free on Monday nights. All Monday, they come in, and they usually come in with their significant other or whoever, their husband or wives, and they come in and they shoot. And we also, every time for our rental program, we offer show you how to load, hold, aim, and shoot a firearm. And that is the basic part of it. So if you're new to firearms, and I've had people come in that have said they've shot for 10 years, and we go watch them and they're completely doing it unsafe and wrong. Don't be that guy that has that mentality that I know everything about it. I don't need to take a class. Seriously, once you take our classes, you'll start learning, even from the basics. We all started there, but then you work your way up to tactical, advanced, or drill classes and things like that. These classes are like $25. So take advantage of these while you can now to get the training you need so you don't hurt yourself or other ones. So.
No, Thomas, it's perfect what you're saying, because people don't realize that's a sport, in my opinion, shooting a gun.
Absolutely.
So you have to have the competition. You have to have the right training from anything in sports. It takes practice. It teaches someone telling you what to do. It's easy to go out there and think you know it all, but you know what? If you got the proper training, you'll be better off.
And that's the thing. We make you feel natural with the firearm. Of course, if you're terrified in the beginning, that's good, because you should be, because just like a car, you could go out and kill yourself if you've never driven before. So get the training you need, and once you feel comfortable and natural with it, then you've learned everything you possibly can. Now you can just come out and do practices, drills. The drills that we teach you. When you go to a shooting range, have a agenda with you. Know what you're doing. Don't just go out there and go bang, 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 bang. Oh, yay. Because that's just a waste of money and you're not really practicing. Once you learn drills, you can practice these drills, double taps or controlled pairs or multiple targets or things like that. You can do that at our range at any time. And also, like, we have holster draw classes. So you can, after you learn how to holster draw from our class, you get a certificate. You can holster draw from our range right there. And a lot of our competitions, you're inside the range, so you're moving around, hitting multiple targets. You're learning how to move. If you've never done that before, it's not like the movies. Not at all.
No, sir.
You always get that one super headshot while they're leaping in the air.
And guess what? And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get shot. It's not the movies or TV where the star gets shot at 50 times and never gets hit.
Exactly.
That's not the real world. I want to do a shout out to Brio, great partner for us. The Brio Tuscan Grill at International Mall. Check them out. You mentioned the Consumer Quarterback Show. They got a bunch of appetizers, from shrimp to dips, to just so many different things, from a pizza. Mention our show, and they're going to take good care of you over there. Just for following the Consumer Quarterback Show and mentioning Brandon Rhymes' name. They all know him over there. He's a great guy. We had a great opening about 3 months ago over there. It was a little cold outside, but it was beautiful. It's
nice.
a neat place. So check them out. You know, it's funny. Protect yourself when it comes to the bad guys. And Jim Hennessy, protect yourself against getting a bad deal on a mortgage.
That's right.
Because it's very important, you know, that happens in the right way. And I want to thank you both for being on the show today, man. You guys are great. You know,
Thanks.
Thanks.
Both,
it was a lot of fun.
You both do a lot of good things.
Shout out to couple
Please,
people.
go for it,
I had
brother.
EMG Ammo. They're sponsoring us for a lot of these free events that we have there. Come take advantage of this, because these, I mean, you're getting the ammo, the firearm, everything for free rental, all that stuff. So also Hyperion Ammo. And Terry Power, he's running for Florida House right now. He's actually bringing all the food for our free basic pistol class for active teachers right now. So he's sponsoring that. Thank Glock out there for a couple competitions for us and things like that. But the main thing is we want to make sure that you're safe. We want to make sure that you're having a fun time when you're at our range. You'll come out and meet our staff. Our staff is amazing. They're very knowledgeable, and they'll help you out to as much as they can do, and you'll see it beyond that too as well. So
give them the address and phone number again.
it's 13317 West Hillsborough Avenue, right off of Hillsborough there, and the phone number is 813-221-FIRE. It's 3473.
Mr. Hennessy, throw out your email and phone number for the folks for
All right,
mortgages.
give us a call at 727-215-0001. And our email is answers@loanpilots.com.
Thank you for listening to 1380 AM The Biz, the Real Estate Quarterback Show. This is Patrick Highlands signing off. If I can help you out with anything in the insurance world, give me a call at 813-966-1052. Be safe out there, Tampa.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.